Good morning. We are on the Cowichan River, starting over here at the weir. James is behind me. We're with Marley from All Out West Guide Services. We're going to drift the Cowichan River today. We're going to give you 3 proven tactics on how to catch trout and steelhead on the upper portion of the river. Oh, bob her down! Bob her down!
Yep, fish on. Yep.
It's going to be an amazing day. Let's go for a ride.
The Cowichan River flows from Lake Cowichan through 47 kilometers of forests, fields, and estuaries before it empties into the ocean at Cowichan Bay. The river is known for its rainbow trout, brown trout, and incredible steelhead fishing, but please keep in mind that the upper portion of the river is fly fishing only. It starts at the Greendale Trestle Bridge and runs downstream to the CNR Trestle Bridge that's also known as mile 70.2. There's lots of information about this online, or you may wish to check with the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Gone Fishing in Duncan. And as usual, please check the regulations before you take a cast.
Hopefully get to see all the trout that are up here. It's something that most people don't really realize or get to see, but a lot of the trout in the lake drop into the top of the river here. It's crystal clear and you just see them all stacked up everywhere.
Now that's how you go through a weir, boys, ladies and gentlemen. Like a glove. That was nice. Well done. Not his first rodeo. Well, we're doing the slow drift down here to Greendale. We've got a little bit of time. And Marley's been fishing this river since he was knee-high to a grasshopper, eh?
Yeah, you bet.
And he's on this river now guiding, and he has a couple of other services available on the ocean as well. So we're going to get him to chat with you guys about that and see what he's got going on for the rest of the season.
Most of our guiding's done here on the Cowichan. A lot of it's in the fall for trout. We do some steelhead action in the winter like we're going to be doing today. New to the All Out West family, we're going to be fishing my 18.5-foot Stavy craft. We're going to be doing some trips on Lake Cowichan for trout, trolling, and hopefully some crabbing and prawning trips too out of Cowichan Bay or Mill Bay.
From a trout perspective, timing-wise, when would you say is prime time to trout fish this river?
Yeah, prime time is going to be in salmon season. When all the salmon come up here and all that nutrients is in the system, lots of eggs. And so for kind of, you know, depending on when we get those first big rains, but usually it's sometime middle October to the end of October, right through to kind of mid-December is excellent trout fishing. And then in the springtime, we start getting really good trout fishing again. You have some dry fly action, some nymphing and kind of stuff like that, but the real prime time is going to be in egg season for sure. So our first proven tactic of the day is going to be nymphing egg patterns for trout. Now typically the prime time for this is going to be in the fall, but these trout are hungry all the time and eggs are always kind of something that's on their mind. So an egg pattern is always going to work really well. The type of nymphing we're going to do right now is the most popular thing out there these days. It's called Euro-nymphing. Typically you're going to be using a lot smaller of a rod, but when the river's really high like this, and it is, you know, the time of year where a steelhead could be kicking around, I like to go up a few sizes just in case we do hook something that we need more backbone for. And it's also nice to not play the trout for too long. If you're too underweight on your rod, you're going to end up playing these little trout for just too long in the current. It's nice to get them in, you know, relatively quick, right? And still get a nice little fight out of it. You kind of have to forget what you know about casting a fly. It's not the traditional, beautiful, nice, big casts. Basically what you're doing is you have this egg pattern right here. This is weighted with a very large tungsten bead head and just a little bit of your wool there. It's a classic egg pattern. And the weight of this alone is enough to help get your cast out. So all you're going to do is pop it behind you, whip it upstream, get a nice mend in there, and it's the classic arm reached out high stick. Just like that.
Just like a fly fishing regular high stick.
Just like a regular fly fishing high stick, except it's able to get down there really quickly So yeah, once you get it on the bottom, you kind of want to make sure you mend it too.
Yep,
The
so-
last thing you want is it to be dragging. The more natural it looks, the better.
So Marley, this looks a little bit different than a normal fly fishing setup. The line looks a little different. You've got a different length leader, etc. Can you tell us a little bit about the type of fly line you're using?
Yeah, right now we're using what would be considered a Euro-nymph line.
Okay.
So it's just a lot thinner than a regular fly line. It allows that fly to get right down on the bottom as quick as it can. And I'm just running about a 6-7 foot, 10-pound leader. That's
Straight
it.
leader and
Just
that's it.
straight leader. And you don't want to go too light, because if you hook these little rocks, you don't want to be snapping your fly off every 10 minutes. You want that, honestly, you want that hook to just bend a little bit so you can pop it out from under the rocks.
Gotcha.
Are you allowed to use a strike indicator in this
No.
section of the river?
So you're not. So in the upper Cowichan River, it is fly fishing only. The fly fishing only regs mean that you can't use external weight or external flotation.
This episode is brought to you by Gone Fishing, serving Vancouver Island and beyond for over 30 years. West Coast fishing tackle, the quality anglers deserve. Parksville Boathouse, your full-service boat dealer and chandlery.
All right, James, so basically when we're drifting down the river, you're going to be focusing on the edge of the river, basically everywhere we go.
Okay.
And as we go down, I'm just going to point out which side that's going to be on. So in this case here, you're going to want to pop it behind this dock.
Oh, that was a
Okay.
good spot.
Yeah, that's good there. So pick up that slack that's on the water, so it's just straight to the fly. And that should be...
So what Marley's been saying here is you want to have direct contact with that fly. You don't want to have any slack, so you're always mending. And that's drifting with the boat right now.
Yeah, that tungsten bead head is hard enough that when the trout put it in their mouth, they're so used to accidentally eating rocks all day that if they feel that, they're going to spit it out before you even knew that you felt the bite if you have a bow in your line.
Right.
That's why it's so important to be straight to your fly.
Talk us through what's been happening here, Tyler. You had a couple of hits there.
Yeah, I had a couple little hits. I mean, it felt like hits anyway, but you always never quite know when you're hitting bottom, but you want to try and strike on the hits that you do feel, because Marley here was telling us these fish, they'll eat little rocks and
There you go.
stuff. There we go.
We got one. Nice, Marley.
Fish on.
Nice beauty. Nice clean looking bow. It's actually a nice fish here. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
He's livened up a bit.
What a beauty.
This is why you want that bit stronger of a rod, because even though this fish isn't huge, the current's going fast here, and if you're undergunned, you'll end up just playing these fish too long. Here we go. I'm going to lift it up here and just alley-oop it into the net here. There we go.
That was the greatest net job in history, ladies and gentlemen.
So what we'll do is we'll just plop it in the water here. I can grab the net.
And what
All right. There it is. Nice, beautiful rainbow.
Go for it.
Oh. The one thing that you picked up on right away is that we're in a faster run here. Sometimes that's all it takes, is just a bit faster moving water. All the water we were just in was pretty slow, and the fish had a lot of time to look at your pattern, right? Sometimes just a little bit faster water gives them a little less time to think about it.
You guys have never drifted a river like this. It is quite the experience, I'll tell you. Coming out with a guide like Marley, been doing this for years and years and years, knows how to row the rapids, be out here in, you know, some pretty decent water, I would consider. I wouldn't want to be out here not knowing what I was doing, so pretty amazing.
So we're gonna switch over from our nymphing. Now we're down below the 70.2 trestle. We're gonna fish for hopefully a steelhead here, fishing traditional kind of center pin and a float setup. Got 11-foot rod, your classic Islander center pin reel. Got a 30-gram float down to some pencil lead. About a 2-foot leader with a nice bright bead to catch their attention.
Nice.
And barbless hook. we're gonna see if we can get into one.
What are you up to, Marley?
Tying on a soft bead setup here. We're just tying your classic Snell knot. So soft beads, they come with a special stopper. Most of the companies that sell soft beads, they provide the little stopper that's going to stop your bead from sliding down. That goes on first, just like so. Now some companies have a pre-made hole. This particular one right here, they need you to thread it through with a needle. It's kind of a little bit annoying, but these beads have been working quite well. So
you've got the stopper on there, then you're going to thread the needle with the line through it.
Yep, and that goes right down to right here, that little button, you could call it, I guess.
That's the stopper button.
Right there, yeah.
And that's the distance you like between the bead and the hook.
Yep.
What pound test are you using there?
Right now I'm running 12-pound fluorocarbon. It's nice for that clear water up here. And then we're just going to go to a swivel.
And how long would that entire setup be? Looks like it's about 1.5 feet, 18 inches,
yeah,
20 inches?
Yeah, some guys like to go really long, some guys like to go really short. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle there. Yeah, and then we're just going to go into a quick release here so we can change it out if we want quickly.
Okay. And then from there you go to your weight.
To your weight.
Slider weight.
You got bobber stoppers. I like to use a little bead here so that your bobber stopper doesn't go back up into your bobber. One at the top. A couple more stoppers there.
So that you can adjust that anytime you want to. I notice, Marley, you got a couple of different sizes in the beads.
Yeah.
Is there generally a time when you use the larger ones or the smaller ones?
Yeah, a lot of it's personal preference, but rule of thumb is higher water, murkier water, you're going to go with a bigger bead. Low and clear, you're going to go with a smaller bead. But it seems like the trend now is a lot of guys are fishing bigger beads than we used to. But
I mean, this is the beautiful thing about being in a boat is you barely even have to cast. You literally just stick your rod out, drop it into that nice water, and it's gone.
yeah, bobber down. Oh, good.
Who's bobber? Tyler's?
Yeah. Right just before he clicked it up to bring it in.
So you can see here we're about 15 feet away from shore, and we're just dropping the bobbers down and letting them work down.
Oh,
buddy.
Oh, there we go. Nice one, Tyler. Just hooked into one here. Nice steelhead right beside the boat. This is, I think, the one that snagged you before, Tyler.
You're doing good, buddy.
oh, baby. I'm telling you, there's something about steelhead.
And we'll, oh, that's a beautiful fish.
That's a beautiful silver fish.
So I hit that on that nice big bead that Marley gave me here. I had put my float up the line a little bit to get my lead a little deeper back there, and I hit it once. Marley moved us over with the anchor just a little bit.
Oh, he's going for it. Nice. That's awesome.
And we moved downriver about 20-30 feet, and we just right off this seam here. I just laid that bobber right there with that bead, and it just smashed it. What a beauty. You guys can see I'm keeping the rod tip towards the water. He's jumped a couple times, and I'm trying to keep him in the water. My best chance for success of keeping that hook in is keeping that steelhead in the water.
Keep him coming. Point him up there. All right, now lift your tip for me. Lift it right up, right now. Oh, God. Let him run, let him run, let him run.
Oh, no.
Close. Close.
Dang, that was my bad. I didn't lift him quite hard enough. I was scared to lift him hard.
Nice fish, though. We saw
Nice
every
fish,
square
though.
inch of it.
Man, what a fish, dude. Steelhead fishing it's the mecca.
Yeah. Well, good job.
Thank you.
We'll get the next one.
See if we can get him again.
This episode is brought to you by Parksville Boathouse, your full-service boat dealer and chandlery. Gone Fishing, serving Vancouver Island and beyond for over 30 years. West Coast fishing tackle, the quality anglers deserve.
Marley, there's a lot of talk about the speed of water and what's ideal for steelhead fishing. What sort of speed of water do you like when you're steelhead fishing?
I mean, the standard is walking speed, like you were saying, but it depends on, you know, I would say across the board, yes, walking speed is kind of what you're looking for, but there are lots of places where you're going to be in faster water and fish are going to be laying behind boulders.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So it does, you know, change, but yeah, for the most part, walking speed, kind of slower edges of the fast water is what you're going to be looking for. Something in there.
No way.
Something else wanted that same bead. Brownie? No, it's just a little rainbow here. I'll try to get a nice clean release of it here.
So even the rainbows like those big beads.
Film this like it's important.
Okay. There you go, nice rainbow.
Beautiful.
Nice. So the fish we just lost was clearly like a really chrome doe. Typically fish pair up. There could be a buck in there. So we're gonna try running a worm through, see if we can't make him mad.
That's
That's
awesome.
pretty cool, huh? That's pretty dang cool.
Oh, bob her down! Bob her down!
Yep.
Fish on.
Yep. Oh, it's a good fish. Oh, it's a big fish. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you switched over to the worm.
First cast on the worm.
Oh, no!
Oh!
They're feisty on us today. Oh my goodness.
Man.
We didn't get to see that one.
On the worm.
Wow.
That's a nice skeely too.
Nice cast, buddy. Dang.
Not just sharpen the hook, it's as sharp as ever.
Oh,
Oh,
That was a nice fish. Did you see the roll over
heartbreaker.
there? Heartbreaker.
but the technique, as he was saying,
Yeah.
switching over to that worm, the
Yeah.
female, the doe, hit the egg, and he knew there'd probably be a male with it, so he put on a worm, and bam, he hit the worm.
Yeah.
So now what's the likelihood of us being able to catch either one of those two fish in this spot again? Probably.
I don't know, but maybe they have relatives. Let's
We're
keep
gonna
trying.
try. Ah, there we go.
Love the optimism.
You know how hard it is to lose fish on those? Oh my god. Oh no. Yes. It's so hard to lose them on the worm because if that J hook is just really in there. But you never know. You can. It's fishing. You could have the tiniest bit of their cheek or a little bit of skin on a lip, you know.
I will say, guys, if you haven't picked up on that little trick in this episode of having that quick release change for these lures, you can switch from a bead over to a worm on the same rod super efficiently. You don't necessarily have to travel around with 2, 3, 4 rods. You can run multiple setups off of one piece of gear with that quick change. That is a huge tip.
Okay, James, we got a technical spot for you coming up here. You got to try to get something in. You might be a little bit deep, but it might be too late for you to adjust. So I would fish it as is. On our left, there is a side channel that's dumping out. And if you can't adjust your floating time, just cast in there. But it's this little side channel here that's pumping out. If you can kind of cast up into it and let it come down, sometimes there's a brown trout to be had. See what I'm saying? Right in this nice little soft spot over there?
Over top of those reeds?
I mean, if you can, get at the very end of it. Right in the little end. Yeah, right there. Yeah. And then just open your bail so it all comes out. Yeah,
Oh, bob her down!
poke 'em.
Oh, he was there.
I was on that.
So our third tactic today is going to be fishing spoons. Spoons are a good method to like kind of use as a cleanup, we like to call it, you know. Once you've kind of run everything through, just to make sure there's still not something in there that's angry and wants that aggressive bite, you swing a spoon through. Spoons aren't going to work in every spot, but they're going to work in the spots that you would generally swing a fly through or something that kind of has that kind of water. This spot that we're in right here is, you know, it's moving a little quick, but it's a pretty good example of an area that's about the same depth all the way across. The spoon can kind of sweep through it really nicely. You know, you want to run spoons through the tail out. That's always a good spot to put a spoon through. And you don't catch tons of fish on them, but the fish you do catch are really exciting.
They're aggressive.
It's a really aggressive bite. Oftentimes you don't even feel anything other than the fish start running immediately after it's hooked. You know, you can fish a spot with everything you have and then try a spoon at the very end, and sure enough, that's what gets them. But when you get a spoon, one of the things you're going to want to do is take off the hooks that come with them that are attached to the split ring, and you want to put a swivel on them. Putting a swivel on a spoon, I don't know exactly what it does, but it puts it a little further back, and it is deadly. Really improves your hook sets and the fish that stay on.
You never know what it's going to be. A couple of nice steelhead.
Ooh.
2 biggies, honestly.
They were gorgeous.
Like, let's be serious. Those
They
were
were
really
gorgeous.
nice steelies.
Yeah.
And a couple little trout here
Yeah.
and there. I mean, nothing crazy big like what you've seen in the past. But
No, they were absolute beautiful. That's a specimen.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for out here. And you know, sometimes they just come unbuttoned. It's the way she goes.
that's fishing,
I've
right?
had a lot of days where they've come unbuttoned. Right up. Go right up here.
Well, guys, that was an awesome drift down the upper Cowichan River. Marley here, all out west fishing charters.
Okay. Always a joy. We're so fortunate to have the Cowichan River here and yeah. Fishing with you, Marley. Thank you very much. We got some trout in the boat. We got some steelhead inside the boat. We got rainbows and brown trout. Marley showed us some fantastic techniques for improving your chance to catch a fish in the river. Great day, man.
Yeah, let's actually recap those techniques. So we got boat fishing. Well, first we started with trout.
Yeah, we've got our Euro-nymphing for trout.
Yeah.
Float fishing for steelhead. Swinging a spoon. Kind of some basics there to get you going on the Cowichan.
Well, last ditch effort. You guys didn't see it on camera, but we did swing the spoon at the last chance hole that we can get to before we got to pull out of the ramp here. We did get a little brown trout on that one too. So unfortunately, no more steelhead. We lost that beauty that I had right at the boat, and then Marley lost another one there. But then James got a small one, but that didn't get shown on camera either.
Steelhead small about that side, which is a good sign the river's in great condition. And I think that's the other thing, Marley. This river is in excellent condition.
Yeah.
There's lots of fish.
Yeah, the Cowichan River is just unreal. It's a really special fishery.
And we had 2 steelhead fish days.
Yeah.
It was a really good
Oh,
day.
it's great.
We didn't get to land from the boat, but man, oh man, was it a great fight all around, right? So for you guys that are drifting the Cowichan or attempting to drift the Cowichan, we hope you got some good information from this episode. And for all of you that are hiking in, bushwhacking, hitting the bank, again, best of luck out there to you. There's lots of great spots to fish on the Cowichan River.
Yeah, right on. If anyone wants to get out for a drift, give me a shout at alloutwest.com, and I'm happy to take you out there and show you what we did out here today.
Highly recommend it. Fantastic night.
Definitely. Thanks very much, Marley.
Yeah, no worries.
Appreciate it.
Coming out.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.